To go wrong in one's own way is better than to go right in someone else's. This paradoxical statement captures the heart of Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment. The novel is not simply about a murder. It is about the destruction of a soul under the weight of ideas, and the possibility of its rebirth. Dostoevsky's work is not a crime thriller, but a psychological and philosophical drama. A study of guilt, a critique of dangerous ideologies, and a meditation on how love and suffering can restore even the most broken human being. In this video, we will ask, can anyone truly live beyond morality? And why does no one ever outrun their own conscience? What role does suffering play in Dostoevsky's vision of redemption? Before turning to these questions, let us first recall the story itself. And if you want a full retelling of the novel's plot, you can find it on our channel. Rodion Raskolnikov, a 23-year-old former student, lives in poverty in St. Petersburg. He develops a theory that some extraordinary individuals may step over moral boundaries if it leads to a higher good. To test this idea, he murders an old pawnbroker, whom he sees as a parasite, and in the process also kills her innocent sister, Lizaveta. Instead of freedom, he discovers torment. Rather than proving himself extraordinary, he becomes trapped in fear, guilt, and isolation. At the same time, he meets Sonia, a young woman forced into prostitution to feed her family. She embodies compassion and humility, the very opposite of his cold rationalism. Through her, he begins a painful journey toward confession, punishment, and eventual renewal. The logic of murder. I wanted to become a Napoleon, that's why I killed her. Raskolnikov does not kill the pawnbroker out of anger or greed. He kills to test a theory that by removing one cruel, selfish person from the world, he could make life better for many others. This idea resembles the philosophy of Jeremy Bentham, who argued that the moral and political value of any action should be judged by how much it increases happiness or reduces suffering for everyone affected. But Dostoevsky shows the danger. When people become numbers in an equation, their humanity disappears. The moment Raskolnikov acts on his theory, he takes a human life, and with it, destroys his own inner peace. The collapse of this reasoning leads directly into the inner drama of the novel, the inescapable torment of conscience. The prison of conscience. It was myself I killed, not the old woman. From the moment he commits the murder, Raskolnikov steps into a prison far harsher than any Siberian camp, the prison of his own conscience. He feels the weight of being a murderer, yet refuses to admit it openly, clinging to his theory. His mind becomes a battlefield. One moment he hides, the next he longs to confess. Fever grips him, nightmares haunt him, and thoughts of ending his own life creep in. Dostoevsky shows that such a prison of the mind can be more exhausting, more merciless than any external punishment. But what of the person whose conscience is silent? For this, Dostoevsky gives us Svidrigailov, a man who feels no guilt at all, and whose fate offers a different kind of warning. Nihilism and despair. What do I care that others suffer? Let them eat each other alive. Svidrigailov is a man without conscience. He pursues pleasure, manipulates people, and treats others as tools for his own satisfaction. Unlike Raskolnikov, he feels no torment or moral conflict after harming others. At first, this might look like freedom, no guilt, no self-reproach. But Dostoevsky shows the reality. Without a sense of moral responsibility, life becomes empty. For Svidrigailov, the absence of conscience leads not to peace, but to boredom. In the end, he sees no reason to go on living and takes his own life. Through Svidrigailov, Dostoevsky argues that nihilism is not liberation, it is annihilation. Raskolnikov, by contrast, cannot escape suffering. And in this struggle, the illusion of being an extraordinary man collapses. The illusion of the extraordinary man. It wasn't a human being I killed. It was a principle. And it was all a mistake. Raskolnikov's belief in his own superiority isolates him from others and from himself. Killing brings him nothing, no personal gain, no benefit to others, only suffering. Here, Dostoevsky anticipates Nietzsche's Übermensch, the man beyond good and evil. Nietzsche argued that traditional morality, especially Christian humility, was a slave morality. To overcome it, the Übermensch creates his own values and imposes meaning upon a meaningless world. Raskolnikov imagines himself in similar terms, but in reality, the theory fails. Instead of becoming stronger, he is consumed by guilt. He does not create new values, he destroys himself. For Dostoevsky, the belief in one's moral exceptionalism doesn't free a person. It blinds them to their own limits. Only by abandoning this belief can Raskolnikov open himself to compassion and love. This recognition leads directly to the role of suffering in Dostoevsky's vision. Suffering and redemption. Pain and suffering are always inevitable for a large intelligence and a deep heart. Dostoevsky presents suffering in many forms. For Sonia, it is sacrifice born with faith. For Raskolnikov, it becomes the road to confession. For Svidrigailov, suffering without hope ends in despair. Here the novel recalls Nietzsche again, who saw suffering as inseparable from growth. For him, pain strengthens the will to power and teaches amor fati, the love of fate. But Dostoevsky's vision is different. Suffering is not redeemed by strength, but by humility and love. On its own, it can destroy. United with compassion, it can save. The power of love and forgiveness. Go at once, this very moment. Stand at the crossroads, bow down, and say aloud to the whole world, I am a murderer. The decisive moment of crime and punishment is not Raskolnikov's legal confession, but Sonia's unwavering love. She calls him not only to admit his guilt before men, but to seek forgiveness before God. Sonia embodies Christian humility. Forced into prostitution, she nonetheless remains spiritually pure and steadfast in faith. Her message is clear. No soul is beyond forgiveness if it chooses repentance. Dostoevsky shows that redemption is not achieved through logic or pride, but through humility, repentance, and grace. In Sonia, love becomes the force that breaks isolation, heals guilt, and makes renewal possible. Love, grounded in faith, proves stronger than guilt, stronger than pride, and stronger than crime itself. Crime and Punishment is more than a Russian novel of the 19th century. It is a timeless study of conscience, morality, and redemption. Raskolnikov embodies our pride, our rationalizations, our fear of insignificance, and our struggle with guilt. But Dostoevsky leaves us not with despair, but with hope. That renewal is always possible, through suffering and love. This is why the novel continues to resonate. It reminds us that no one is defined solely by their sins. In every human being lies the possibility of rebirth. What do you think about this novel? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more in-depth literary essays. Thanks for watching and have a great day.